Absolutely, and it is season 2 of Batwatch. We brought it back by popular demand.
Was it?
What?
Did people actually demand it? I didn't
I
actually
saw
look.
some comments.
Yeah, there were comments.
Okay, there were 1 or 2
And I
comments.
got a lot of weird, like, straight up DMs. Where's Batwatch? And I'm just like, we watched them all.
I mean, I looked through I looked through our like most popular videos the other day on the channel. Which, number one, Benny, good call on the faces, because it's all like videos with our faces in them and not the old style of thumbnail.
Right.
Yeah.
And B, there's a lot of Batwatch. The Batwatch episodes do well, so people like them.
Sal just shows up, guys. He doesn't look at anything.
No.
Hey, fair enough.
Why would I? You guys tell me I suck all the time.
Hey, right there with you, brother.
They just say you're negative. Don't worry. Yeah, they all love me, so I'm good. I'm fine.
Good. No, at least
now
that-
all the Benny haters are gonna come out.
Yeah, unless
just
you
like,
say
"Not
that
me!"
Megan Thee Stallion isn't real, and then half of them hate you, and the other half
Isn't real.
with
So anyway, we decided to bring back Batwatch. We're going to watch 3 episodes of the Batman cartoons at like different segments. We'll come back to animated. We'll go around. So to kick this off, we looked up a list of the top 10 best Batman the Animated Series episodes. Now this is going to be fun because Sal, I watched this as a kid. I never rewatched these remastered episodes. Sal, from talking to you, I think you watch Batman the Animated Series weekly.
I don't, but
Does
it plays weekly in my head. But I have when HBO Max launched, DC Universe launched, I watched all of them again. And,
So
it's a great show.
I'm rewatching after like 15, 20 years. Well, longer than that probably. This like
It's actually
30
fortuitous we're doing it, by the way, because it's like we are 1 week removed from its 30th anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We did it on purpose.
And Dylan, you have, and don't correct me if I'm wrong, but never watched Batman the Animated Series outside of like individual clips and things like that.
Yeah, I believe I've seen the first episode, which is the first episode the one with Man-Bat? I've seen
Yes,
that
on
one.
Leather Wings. Yeah.
I've seen that one a few times in like
Actually,
an effort to start
According to
watching
this,
it.
that's the 3rd episode. The first episode
Yeah, that's
is the
horseshit.
2-part
No, don't worry about it.
There's different orders
fake.
because you got when you sent the list, the episode numbers were different than the episode numbers that I had. So like there's
the
different...
episodes that are the order on HBO Max is wrong. The order that you see online is wrong. Like there's no good list.
Well,
but
I
trust
think
me,
that's
on
one of the
Leather
best
Wings is
things
the
about
pilot.
it is because
It doesn't really matter.
it doesn't matter. Like I'd say about 90% of them all stand alone.
Yeah.
And they made sure the 2-parters are next to each other, but there's no running continuity of like, well, did you know what happened in episode 5? Like,
No, if they have continuity, it's between the 2-parters they're doing.
yeah.
Right.
That's it.
So we're gonna kick. So we looked it up, and the answers were we were supposed to watch an episode of called Heart of Ice, which explains the origin of Mr. Freeze and goes into all of that.
Yep.
We were then, so correct me if I got the wrong ones. We are then supposed to watch Beware the Gray Ghost, which talks about inspirations for Batman, basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I Am the Night, which was Batman potentially losing a friend.
Yeah.
That he
Or a
declared he thought
father?
of as a father. Yeah, that he declared. So kicking it off, we're going to try not spending 30 minutes per episode here, guys, so don't worry about that. Although I think some people would like a full analysis. So on this scene and this panel and this...
Oh, man, yeah.
So Heart of Ice is this is one of those moments in because this animated series influenced a lot of the comics. Yeah. And this created the Mr. Freeze that most people know and love at this point.
Oh, okay.
This version here. He did not exist like this before this. And if I'm wrong, Sal can tell me, but I'm pretty sure this invented current Mr. Freeze.
It basically did, yeah. I mean, it actually is a fun, the design for Mr. Freeze in this, which seems like old and antiquated, which I believe was designed by Mike Mignola, was also a homage to one of his original designs. Back in the day, he was actually red, but a very early design of Mr. Freeze, which did not have the tragic origin, no Nora. This is just complete fabrication, which is actually a trend for the show, where it's like, I don't know how this works. The origin's too complicated, but I want to use the character. Throw out the origin, make another one.
Yeah.
Like, Clayface
like
is that
the MCU.
100%.
Modern.
Oh, I love what they do with Clayface in this entire
Clayface
series.
is just like brilliant. And I love it because it's like, that's not even close. But you know what? Nobody cares. Nobody. But yeah, Heart of Ice, that is it, and I believe it's the first episode to win an Emmy for the show as well.
Oh, I did not realize that. It is very powerful. The acting from Kevin Conroy is incredible on this one. The acting, I don't know who does Mr. Freeze, but his acting is great. I also loved I just loved the story that Mr. Freeze is doing this because he got turned away by this businessman who took all the money away. It's such a great episode.
Michael and Sarah is Mr.
Michael and Sarah?
Dr. Freeze, yeah.
Rewatching this, I remembered it pretty well, actually, the original Heart of Ice. And I think it's because it's such a powerful episode, it stayed with me, kind of a thing.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because there's some of these in here, like Pretty Poison. I'm looking at the name of the title just right now. I have no idea what that one's about. Like
Poison Ivy would be my guess.
Yeah, I was like, I'm assuming Poison Ivy's that week, villain of the week. But you, Sal, like when we brought this up, you brought up Heart of Ice as we have to watch that first. Before I even looked up the list. That was on your list.
That's right.
So, Dylan, what did you think? I'm assuming never seen this episode.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. Like, I didn't. We're not gonna before like the comments say like, oh, maybe this Zoomer might hate it. Like, this is great. Like, it's Batman the animated. Like, it's great. Like, I'm not. Yeah. There's no hot takes here. It was a good time. I think this is like classic Batman stuff. I really, really like, I have kind of a bias against animation in general. It's just, I'm more interested in live action for a long list of reasons that I'm not going to get into right now. But
not the place.
Yeah, no, for that reason, like, I'm not going in like, I'm going to hate this. It's just not going to grab my interest as much as like if this were live action. But that being said, like 90s style animation, like the hand drawn kind of messy style of animation that this, is done in is the stuff I really like. So these 3 episodes were a treat to look at. Obviously, everything is really well acted. My main takeaway from this episode is just like I really appreciated that the show doesn't treat its audience like children, even though it is a children's cartoon. Like
it was entirely aimed for kids, but they just didn't care. Like that was the
marketed for children, made for adults. Like made for the people who made the show. Yeah, the people like clearly the people who are making this are like we're the audience. The audience who is the people making the show. Like from the
it's why this show is so timeless.
Yeah, that's right.
Totally.
That's right.
Because they
hand
never
painted title cards. Like the title cards for every episode are hand painted, and they're just like these beautiful summations of what the show is going to be about, what the theme is. Everyone's different. Shirley Walker's themes are all original and made for each episode, and are so like eloquent and beautiful and perfectly thematically relevant to the character, and it just becomes this thing where like. This show just drops, and it's made specifically. This animated series is just made because they were trying to capitalize on the success of Batman '89. They were just like, "Well, there's a movie; it's huge. Make a cartoon," and that's why the theme is so similar to the Burton theme. They just want you to the Elfman
when you think about it.
They want you to think that show, and the car looks a little like the car from the movie, but again, completely stylized and changed. It isn't until like you start watching it that you're like, oh, this is not that movie. This is not anything. Like this is something totally completely unique. Heart of Ice is the reason why I even brought it up is because like number one, for me when I watch this show, there's like 3 tiers of animation. There's the A team, the B team, and then the C team, which is way below the B team. The A team, of course, made episodes like On Leather Wings, Heart of Ice, Clayface. They bankrupted themselves because they couldn't afford to make the shows look as good as they could on the budgets they had. They just destroyed their own studio because of how good they were and how like they were just like they pulled in hours that were just impossible, and that wasn't standard practice back then. But yeah, but it shows in everything you see, like just from the condensation on Mr. Freeze's helmet to the everything about that episode is emblematic of the best parts of the animated series. The theme for Mr. Freeze, the acting, everything's working on every single cylinder. Like if you show somebody who's never seen the animated series, Heart of Ice, and they're like, I don't like it, don't show them any other episode of the show because it's not like that's not going to convince them. That's it.
I think it also shows that this show, like you said, Dylan, is not afraid to just be a Batman. Like there's no humor in Heart of Ice. They don't take a moment to crack a quip. Like
there's a little bit of humor, but like it's earned and it's built into the show, and it's just,
right. That's gonna be like it doesn't feel like a kid show or like an MCU project where we're gonna pause and make a joke about chilling out or something.
No, I feel like the same people that complained about the Batman not being funny would complain about this not being funny. Because
absolutely.
It's the subtle, like, sort of, it's like Batman comedy. Like, it's not like, like Joel Schumacher, like, crazy jokes. But it's, more grounded, just like, passing comedy of the situation. There's also definitely, like, I can't think of any specifics because I watched these, like, a week ago. But there were definitely jokes where it's like, these are for the adult jokes, like a lot of cartoons back then did.
Absolutely.
Where it's like, kids won't get that. But it's not for them.
Warner Brothers is infamous for that in that time.
Totally.
Like, Animaniacs is just made for adults.
Yep. The next one, I want to move us to the next one here, is Beware the Grey Ghost, which on HBO Max is episode 32 if you're trying to follow along.
Yeah.
I did not remember Adam West as the voice of Grey Ghost. That threw me. I was like, oh my, no wonder this is on that list.
Couldn't pick up on it the whole time. I forgot to look it up. That makes a lot of sense.
You know why? Because he's acting.
Yeah.
Like, because he's not a joke. He's not the mayor of Quahog. He's not being Batman again.
Sure.
He's there to act. And the whole episode is
awesome.
about Adam West's career post-Batman. But also in the universe of Batman, so it's not like obvious or stupid. Right. You know?
It's incredible. And I love that they took that. They took Adam West's career, turned it into a character inside of here, and then had Batman looking up to his idol and him not being who he wanted him to be. Like the whole message was just like so many layers. It was incredible.
Absolutely. No. And
it's the origin of Toy Master.
You get. And by the way, did you guys catch this? Because I didn't as a child. Because how could I? But the Toy Man or whatever, the toy maker, is voiced by and modeled after Bruce Timm.
I did not get that.
Yeah, and he's good. I'm like, wow, Bruce Timm has some chops. When all the toys get destroyed, it's amazing. The animation on this one is also the same team, so it looks so good. I love the sound design. We didn't talk about the sound design in the last episode, but I will mention the sound design in this because like every sound effect is just so well executed. The sound of the toys, like the toy race cars.
The race car is haunting. It's haunting in a way that's good though, where you're like,
it's innocuous. It's a race car, but like when you hear it, a building is about to explode.
Right.
Oh. Good
opinions
from
our Zoomer.
Yes, yeah. Let us.
You dubbed yourself that, so you're stuck with it.
You've at least seen the Batman movie from '66, so like you know the context. Of Adam West.
I think that's what's been so fun about Batwatch is me being on the edge of like that weird time period of kids born late '90s where it's like we've seen things or not, who knows?
Exactly.
But that like this is I love this episode also the this one, like Heart of Ice didn't have a lot of it was mostly about Mr. Freeze, so it didn't have a lot of Batman stuff in there.
Yeah.
But this and the next one that we're going to talk about is a lot of this show's characterization of Batman, which is so solid to me.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of, even in The Batman, which is a fantastic movie. I love that movie. Agreed. I'm so tired of modern takes on Batman being this I'm Batman, untouchable, badass, god person. And then in this episode, you see him literally be a little kid, and then still as Batman, showing the Grey Ghost around his Batcave and be like, look at all this stuff that I have.
I modeled it after you.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, the sequence where he's watching the old... Yeah.
It's so cool.
He's watching the old serial, and Alfred gives him popcorn, and he's just like, I'm going to watch this.
And it's they nail it, right? Like Batman being constantly searching for a father figure, or just parents in general. And the Grey Ghost, who is his hero, and also someone he's disappointed in, and they navigate that in such an expert way that I did not expect in a children's cartoon.
Oh yeah. I love that he
as
gives
a kid,
it away.
you're just like, oh, it's two superheroes, cool. Batman's got a hero, and then as an adult, you're like, there's so many layers to this onion that you're now unpacking for me here.
Well, as a culture that has embraced the convention atmosphere and stuff like that, the idea of an actor who used to be big, trying to find work, being marginalized or pigeonholed or typecast, and then being ignored and cast aside by society, and then finding new life later. Seeing Simon Trent at the end where he's signing autographs and things are turning around for him. I don't know if you guys remember this. This is a very deep cut, but in the epilogue episode of the Justice League animated series, which is basically just a sequel ending for Batman Beyond, Amanda Waller orchestrates Terry McGinnis's would-be Batman origin, and his parents are leaving a movie. It's called Beware the Grey Ghost. The Grey Ghost is a character that has lived on into the Batman Beyond future in fiction. Fun. And I love it. He's basically going to be the proto-Zorro for the Terry McGinnis Batman. Of course, it doesn't work out, but whatever. But it's a fun deep cut. It's wow, you guys remembered the Grey Ghost. Great episode. Brilliant acting. I love it. The ending line, of course, Batman uses it on Grey Ghost earlier, but then it ends with it again when he's Bruce Wayne.
I was going to ask you about that.
When he says, I used to watch Grey Ghost with my father. The Grey Ghost was my hero.
Do you think Grey Ghost smiled, or Simon Trent smiled about that because he made the connection with Batman, or because he was just like, oh, it's a sweet
He's
thing?
not stupid.
Yeah, he's not an idiot. He's like, yeah, no, that's Batman. He's like, wow, cool.
Was this also the episode with the like little punk kid, or was that next?
No, that's the next one. That's
okay.
I Am the Night. Yeah.
So I Am the Night is the next episode on our list.
I did want to say you both of you, fantastic job at like picking these three, because they like Mr. Freeze starts like that. Heart of Ice starts like this is like a classic Batman episode, and Where the Grey Ghost and I Am the Night are like so perfectly like intertwined in terms of like themes and stuff. Where like Batman's like an inspiration to the Grey Ghost in Beware the Grey Ghost, and then we're about to talk about. He's inspiration to that little kid who's like stealing things in this.
Right, that punk kid. Yeah, it's awesome.
So Into the Night's issue, episode number 34 on the HBO Max list, just to kind of let people know where to find it if they want to watch this one.
Yeah.
And this one is another one where we kind of deep dive into the whole Batman mythos and how he thinks of Gordon, which I really loved.
God.
The whole thing with the kid and the stealing. Sal, why don't you take point on this one right here?
Oh, sure. Yeah, for a change.
What?
Because I just keep stealing the show to talk about how I love the show.
Yeah, but you do such a great job with these.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. I Am the Night is an amazing episode.
I'm the odd one out. You do a great job of like the classic like veteran, and then we get Dylan's opinion, and I'm just like, and it was fun,
and I liked it. Yeah, no, and I don't blame you. No, this is great. Introduced a villain called the Jazzman. We set up made up, no context, none needed. We introduce and retcon his origins and his connection with Gordon, and the show is 22 minutes long, and they do an amazing job of being like, here's all the history you need. We all immediately hate the Jazzman. We know his history, and we know his desire to see Gordon destroyed is earned and ready to go. We're all in on it. Of course, Batman is like full swing being Batman. He's doing his thing. It's a run-of-the-mill kind of thing. No supervillains, and that's another thing that like the last two episodes are dope and brave for doing, where they're like, let's do an episode where no Joker. Let's do an episode where nobody. The villain is
Clayface
a jerk.
Didn't show up. Leatherface didn't show up. None of them showed up.
It was literally just like here's an episode where Jim Gordon gets shot, and how it makes Batman question everything. And it's amazing because like under the surface, like it is Batman's ever-growing quest to find a father, and how like his connection with Jim Gordon is like is a genuine sense of respect and admiration on both sides.
That's something I don't think I've seen in any other portrayal, even in the comics. Because in the comics, I always read their relationship as more like partners, especially when like everyone is young forever in the comics.
Right. Well, in the comics, they are more like partners.
Like especially when Gordon would go on to be Batman. Like you kind of can't. Like,
well, and they had to kind of like fudge it too, because he definitely was not as young as he was in Super Heavy, like an issue before. But didn't
they say something like they gave him like some kind of a serum, or he just worked out? Like
no, he just worked out again. He's like, well, I was in the military. Yep, and they cut his hair.
But yeah, in this, like Batman very explicitly states like. Gordon is the same age my father would have been if he was still alive, and that's why it's hitting him so hard.
That line hit so hard.
Yeah.
Because like I never even thought about that, and it's funny because thinking back to the animated series, Gordon really does come across as more of a father figure to Bruce than more traditional partners like they are in the Batman movie or in the comic books or you know what I mean? Like those, they're more buddies who don't even interact that much anymore in the comic books. Like when was the last time Batman ran into Gordon or they went on a Batman-Gordon adventure? Like,
it is very frustrating to not have it because of episodes like this, and it's so funny to have like, why can't the other things reflect this? It's why I think the Batman has resonated so much with like the audience that it has, because they're like, oh my god, look at them, they're friends.
Yeah, look at them, like they're working together.
Like and you have still, the Nolan movies.
Like, I think there is maybe something to be said here about where, like, because the reason why Batman treating Alfred as a father figure in here kind of hit me in a weird way was because like Alfred has been that for so long in portrayals that I've seen in comics that I've read.
That's the comics. In the comics, it's Alfred.
Yeah.
Alfred is, and that's fair. Like it's earned, it's fine. I don't argue with it. I don't mind it. But it's like, just as Batman surrounds himself with children, he surrounds himself with fathers.
Right.
Like those are the two things he can't help himself about. And in this, like,
once a family.
Right. We also are introduced, hopefully for the first time for, I guess, at least one of us, Leslie Tompkins, who's a character that, when I was watching the show, I'm like, I don't know. And but it's great because, like, you know what?
They make her so much older than every other portrayal, though. I didn't
I'm
click
happy
that
with
it was
it.
her at first because of that. Like, Leslie. I'm like, oh, yeah.
This was one of the moments for me where, like, I didn't, like, in the back of my head, I was like, is that Leslie Tompkins? And I was like, that seems like a weird pull for...
Yeah, isn't it?
For this show in general. And then it was at the end. And I was like, oh, okay. It's like, I don't...
Yeah.
It's weird. But yeah,
right.
she's cool.
Voiced by Dr. Pulaski herself, Diana Muldaur. She's great. Again, just like unconventional voice actors who are also just effing brilliant. Everyone in this show is doing triple duty and
so
doing
solid.
an incredible job. But
I
Leslie
also
Tompkins
love
being
that
like,
this
she's
episode
so
does a
great.
great job of showing us Batman and the animated series relationship with the police force.
Oh yeah,
Like that was something that really stood out to me in this episode because even Bullock, they're literally waiting for Batman to arrive.
I love them waiting for, because that's such a
Bullock
it's
is
got
great
year
in
one
this.
vibes. The guy who plays Bullock is incredible. The Bullock character is incredible on this show.
He's so great.
I love him. I love the setup because, like, by the way, there's a great episode called "A Bullet for Bullock," and it is gold. Seeing Batman interact with Bullock is great because Bullock is always like played as the heavy. He's no pun intended, but like he is in every episode as that. Like especially when Renee Montoya is introduced. By the way, her first appearance in anything is in this show. But Bullock is great. Yeah, but I love Bullock in this. Yeah, I'm talking you and me when he's screaming out the window at him, and he's like, "You're an outlaw." It's so good, and he's like, "Maybe he should have shot you." And Batman ripping up the place. Another fun element of this show, and especially in the first season, is like Robin exists. It's it's Dick Grayson. He is in the Tim Drake outfit because that's the most popular suit at the time of the show show's airing. Who cares? It's a great suit. It's iconic. Doesn't matter. But where they would like go, Robin's in this episode. He won't do anything. But he is in it.
He just walked in.
Back
Like,
from the brink
I loved how they handled it.
Yeah, he does talk to him.
Having not watched everything around this and knowing what the current continuity was, because there's a very loose continuity of things that follow through. Like when we get to season 3, he's got Robin and Batgirl with him at all times and stuff like that.
Right.
So he just gets Dick coming in his outfit, and he's like, "Oh, thank you that you could make it here." And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, "Wait, where was he?" Like
college. I love it, but I also love this.
Shouldn't he be in his room upstairs? What do you mean?
Nope,
Thanks for
he
coming
moved out of that
by.
room. I also love. There's a great moment where he does talk Batman back from the brink, and or eventually Batman comes back, and Robin's like, "Screw it. Well, I'll go after the Jazz Man." Because he's going to try and finish off Gordon. And Batman's like, "No, you're not in this episode. Do not do anything."
This is Batman, the animated series.
Exactly. The new adventures of Batman and Robin will come later, but not now.
Not yet.
They've combined them all, haven't they? Like season 2, I think, is actually.
Oh, yeah, it's all the same crap now. Batgirl's also in it. So Barbara Gordon, she's great.
That's what I was going to say. That's
Yeah.
my one complaint about this episode is Barbara sucks in this episode.
I love Barbara in this. What's wrong with her?
She doesn't do anything. She's like a wailing, like, "Oh, I'm a woman." Like
She has nothing to do. Yeah, that's
I
true.
like
I agree.
Batgirl. And whenever I see
more the
Barbara
Oracle
Gordon
role.
as not Batgirl or Oracle, like she doesn't like offer anything other than being Jim Gordon's daughter, and that's the portrayal of Barbara I don't like.
They're building it up. You should see the 2-part Batgirl episodes are great, and she's fun. And I think it's Melissa Gilbert who plays her. She's so good.
Maybe we'll watch those ones next, so you can see how they introduce Batgirl into this franchise.
Because
Yeah,
I
I'd like
like
to see that.
she has a beautiful theme, but I like Melissa Gilbert better than Tara Strong. She plays a harder-edged city girl Barbara more than like the soft-voiced like,
Sounds good.
I'm Tara Strong, and I voice every female character in every existence.
Yeah, I sound like what Bruce Timm wants every woman to sound like.
Right.
Which, okay. But
That also,
and
I think there's definitely like a bad taste in my mouth anytime I see
Bruce Timm
Barbara
is-
Gordon in a Bruce Timm thing. I'm like, hey.
There's actually, no, it sucks. And he puts it in, he sews it in this show. Like in this season, he sews it in where like she has a dream about making out with Batman. And it's actually a great dream. It's really funny, but like, ugh. But anyway, he beats the guy with the Tommy gun. Of course. Like, yay. Yeah. But he does stop him. And then at the end, Jim comes out of his coma. And he admits that he wishes that he could be younger to be more like you, a real hero. And it's just, you are a hero, Jim.
You are a hero.
Kills you.
So nice.
It's so good. And then he just leaves and he's like, all right, I'm Batman. It's also a great line earlier because it's like, I am the Knight. That's the name of the episode. He's like, he explains, there's actually, it's one of the most melodramatic and funny moments of Batman where he's walking through the cave and he goes, no, you don't understand. I was the Knight. I became the Knight. And he has like this hand gesture of like, that's, and I'm like, yeah, we get it. You're in your house, man. You're among friends. You don't need to do the whole Batman shtick right now.
You know what I find funny though, now that you're thinking about how Gordon woke up, and I just kind of put it together, we get to see how we want Batman to act with a friend waking up. Yeah. Then think back to the Batman when Alfred wakes up.
That, I gotta tell you, in the Batman, that killed. That got laughs in the theater because he's like, because the look on his face, oh, my son is here and he misses me. You lied to me. Oh man.
Crap,
right.
He's still a shithead. Anyway.
Well, I got it. He's not wrong.
Yeah.
But also,
I hope you guys enjoyed.
That's just real quick to end on that. Like the Batman is such like a great, like, I feel like marriage of these two different portrayals of Batman. Where it's, you know, like he clearly does have a heart. He's just not like in a position where he can wear it on his sleeve quite yet. And that's where we are at the end of that movie. But yeah, I think that's, I wish we got more. That's my main takeaway from this is like, this is like almost if Marvel made Batman. And I would like to see more of that, please.
Yeah. Well, early Marvel, because it's like now he'd be a lot more jokey. Like this show is strikes a strong balance between, you know, like the fun of watching a superhero show that's animated and the seriousness of a ruined man who misses his parents. Like there's a great blend. And this show, of course, like they just get it. And they're firing on all cylinders, and they're executing it flawlessly and in a way where they're like, every episode they get a book's worth of notes where they're like, no, you can't do this, no, you can't do that. And if you watch this show side by side with the Spider-Man animated series that's 2 years later, night and day, where like one is just desperately pushing against notes. They're like you like, oh, how many bullets can the Tommy gun fire? You know, do we need to show blood? This is actually the first time I'd heard a cartoon character ever say, "Oh my God." Yeah. Bullock says it when he discovers Gordon's body. This was a big deal back then, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
To the point where in the Spider-Man animated series, no one may fire a single bullet, everyone has laser pistols, and no one may throw a single punch, and we can't even say the word blood, we'll replace it with plasma. Like, it's night and day. You're watching people going, like, pushing against the notes, trying to make the best show they can, but, like, struggling against adversity and making a better product, and then the other one going, like, whatever you want! I'm just happy to be on TV!
But on that note, guys, we're going to end the Season 2 revival of Batwatch. Let us know your favorite episodes of the animated series down below. For the sake of next week, we might just go ahead and watch the Batgirl, but Sal and I'll figure out what fun ones would be there. But we're also going to deep dive into the other Batman properties that exist in the animated universe. From watching a movie one week, we're also going to probably watch a few key episodes of Justice League and then Justice League Unlimited so that we can get Dylan's opinion on the differing tones of those two.
Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean,
and we'll probably even dive into some of the best episodes of Batman Beyond, which you know, we got to start with the origin.
I think we could expand to things like The Batman, Beware the Batman.
I've never seen Beware the Bat or The Batman or Brave and the Bold. So
Brave and the Bold is fire. I was like, I rejected it out of hand because I'm like, it ain't the Batman animated series, I'm out. And then I watched it after it was canceled. I'm like, oh man, oops.
Oh man, oops.
The Batman is also a pretty tight show too. But anyway.
But we're going to watch them all here on Season 2 of Batwatch, where we dive into Batman in cartoons and animation. Yeah. So let us know your favorite stuff. We'll get going into that. And thank you guys so much for your continued support right here at Absolutely Marvel and DC. I'm Benny, that's Sal, that's Dylan. Check back every week for another episode of Batwatch. We shouldn't be traveling anymore.
I'm not going anywhere.
You never go anywhere. Nope. Anyway, see you guys later.